in another twist in the Twitter and Elon Musk fiasco or storyline, whatever you want to call it, we all woke up to news this morning that Twitter and the board and the CEO and the management team there was actually mulling and reconsidering the offer that Elon had put on the table of $54.20, I think, a share, in light of kind of the threat that Elon Musk had put on the table after the board had rejected that and said, he might just put in a tender offer. A lot of the news today, at least a lot of the headlines have been around how, one, Elon is going to be able to pull this off. The board is reconsidering it, of course, and then actually a deal might close at some point today, probably maybe tomorrow. And then I saw this headline, which is that Elon Musk's, the amount of money basically that Elon Musk is putting on the table to fund Twitter means that he's going to have to figure out a way to monetize Twitter at a greater level, probably through advertising, to stay afloat. And then, the catalyst for this conversation here was actually a conversation that I had with James Phillip, who I do a bunch of other different kind of shows and recordings with him, and he gave me a call just to kind of chat about something that he heard on YouTube around whether a paid subscriber to a platform is actually more valuable, and what does it do to the greater equity of a platform to have more paid users. In the background, at Daggerfinn, we're actually in the process right now of building a two-sided platform, a video platform for one of our clients, which is this mammoth undertaking, but one that I think is going to result in massive gains in terms of return on investment, and then long-term kind of business model gains for our client. But it's something that I've been thinking about a lot, just different business models in this space, and it's also on James's mind as well. And the idea is that, if you get somebody to commit to, think of a two-sided platform. So you've got the creators on one side, for example, and then the consumers on the other. If we chat about the creators first, what value does it have to have the ability to have 1 million followers, 5 million followers, 10 million followers? Right now, the arbitrage is get on Twitter, get as many followers as you can, and just have this almost free PR machine, free PR vehicle where you can just pump out whatever you want. See Elon Musk, for example, and get incredible amounts of publicity and stuff that would cost a fortune to do. And so, on the creator side, could Twitter be charging these creators or these people with large accounts, I don't know, $10,000, $50,000, $100,000? I reckon there's a lot of money to be made on that side, because there's so much value in having that PR vehicle. And then on the consumer side, is there an opportunity to clean up the platform by getting everybody who wants to be vetted and have a profile that really means something, if you compare kind of a human's profile to a bot, for example, and then get everybody to pay $1.99, $2.99, and get this platform that's monetized, has really high quality people that are invested in being on the platform. And what does that mean then from the third side of the platform, if you think of it as a multi-sided platform, where how much is that worth to advertisers? And so the conversation that James and I got into was just talking about whether, what is that value that advertisers would place on a platform that everybody's bought into in that way. And so I thought that was just a really interesting conversation that he triggered, that is interesting in thinking about the future of Twitter. If Elon Musk is able to get this takeover done, or this acquisition done, and they do go to a subscription model, which I think is kind of floating around as what they're going to do. Twitter already has some sort of a subscription thing going on with Twitter Blue, but it's, in my opinion, a pretty weak kind of product and could really use an upgrade and a little more utility. But if Twitter does go to a more advanced kind of subscription model, what does that mean? And I think just in probably the move in the share price that happens when they announce a really robust subscription model, just see the movement in the share price probably with an acquisition from, actually I take that all back, Elon is taking the company private, so all that kind of becomes moot. But the the article that we're looking at actually talks a lot about how Tesla, for example, like does a vehicle that is reliant on advertising fall rightly into the hands of Elon, who has this kind of model of not using advertising as a way to get press. I mean, Tesla doesn't really spend anything on advertising, but I think that kind of diminishes or discredits Elon's probable skill. I think he's very skilled as a CEO. I think he's skilled at playing the game when it comes to getting press and getting his companies in the news. And so if advertising was the right way to monetize Twitter, then I think that he would have the wherewithal and the ability to see that and make sure that that's the way to go. So it's an interesting time for Twitter. I'm definitely going to be following along over the next 48 hours or so to see what happens. And just to see, is Elon going to be able to pull this off? What's Twitter's business model going to look like going forward as a private company? I made that mistake thinking about market caps there, but as a private company, what does that mean for speech? What does it mean for all these things that are going to be in play?